Hi, my name is Bobby Dennis. I've been doing this for about 51 years. I started with Cotton Cordell when I was 14 years old and wound up going to Pradco when he sold it and was their sales director. And then I bought Bill Norman Lures in 1990 and kept it for 10 years. And then I ran into a guy named Rick Clunn. And Rick approached me at a Bass Pro sale. And he said, "What's the idea behind this professional edge line that you're doing with Norman?" And I said, "I wanted a lure that a fisherman could take out of the package and fish with immediately. Didn't have to change hooks, finish wasn't coming off, it was color selected by pros, and so I wanted something that the ordinary guy could use that would be the same thing that a pro would use." Rick said, "I like that idea." And I said, "Okay." So about a month later, he called me and drove up to Greenwood to the Norman factory. And a lot of people say, "How do you connect with Rick Clunn?" Well, he asked me, I asked him, I said, "When do you use a round bill bait versus a square bill?" And about an hour later, he was still telling me, and it dawned on me that this guy knows a lot more than most people even think about. And it kind of evolved from there because we'll spend an hour in the car and 15 minutes of it would be about fishing, as far as techniques and lures and all that. The rest of it is about the mental part of it, or just really the mental part of life. As probably most of you know, Rick is a very deep thinker. He told me one time that he used to be fishing backwards, that he was watching the owl, but he should have been watching the mouse. And so he comes up with these sayings, and then you have to think about them a long time later. But I guess one of my favorite memories with him was fishing a charity tournament on Beaver Lake. And he had fished a BASS event the week before and got into Bentonville about 3 in the morning. We had to be at the launch at 7. And we're sitting in the boat and it's kind of cold and the mist is coming up off the lake. And I said, "You've got to be tired." And he said, "You know where I'd rather be?" And I said, "Where?" He goes, "Nowhere." He goes, "Look how beautiful that is looking down the lake." And I thought, this is a different guy. And we wound up winning it. And I saw him do things that day that I'd never seen people do with a spinnerbait. And then we fished out in California together. We fished just several places, but each time is more of a, it's not so much a lesson in technique and fishing as it is in the thought process of it. And I would tell anybody that wants to get into this industry, you got to remember one thing: you don't make anything anybody has to have. We don't cure cancer. We're not curing diseases. Everything we do is for fun. And if you keep that in your mind, you can do it for 50 years because I tell people, the worst day of my life, I talk about fishing lures. How bad can it be? So I have all these young guys come up to me all the time and they'll say, "So if you had one thing to tell me about the industry," you don't cure anything. Everything you do is for fun. So you just got to keep that in your head. And while Rick is a very deep thinker, he still will tell you that he's probably more comfortable standing up in front of a boat than he is sitting at home. That's his world. So when it all comes down to it, you got to make something that works over a long period of time. And with me, it's got to be affordable. I mean, $25 for a lure, give me a break. I mean, how many high school kids are going to go buy 2 of those? So I'm trying to create a line of lures that anybody can go buy 4 or 5 colors. And you don't have your wife beat you up later, when you get home. So it's really simple. You make something that works and you sell it at a good price, and that's it. That's all you got to do.
Thank you very much, sir.